The moment you stop reaching for what keeps making you doubt yourself, something inside you begins to return. Not with drama, not with anger, not with a final speech meant to make someone understand what they should have understood already. It begins much more quietly than that. A part of you that has been stretched too far starts coming back to where it belongs. Your attention comes back. Your dignity comes back. Your time comes back. Your inner steadiness comes back. And tonight, you do not have to force any of this to happen. You do not have to become colder. You do not have to stop caring. You do not have to pretend that what disappointed you never mattered. You only have to stop abandoning yourself in order to keep a connection alive. There is a difference between caring for someone and carrying the entire weight of whether they care for you. There is a difference between being open and being available for confusion. There is a difference between patience and waiting so long that your own needs disappear from the room. You may have crossed those lines before. Most people do at some point. They do it because hope can be tender. They do it because the heart sometimes keeps trying long after the mind has started to understand. They do it because being wanted can feel so important that they begin negotiating against themselves. A little less honesty, a little less consistency, a little less effort, a little more waiting, a little more explaining, a little more understanding given outward, a little less understanding given inward. Then one day, you realize that you have been working very hard for something that should not require you to keep proving that you deserve a place inside it. That realization is not bitterness. It is clarity. And clarity can feel strange at first because it removes jobs you have been doing for a very long time. The job of checking, the job of wondering, the job of reading silence as a message you must decode, the job of trying to say the perfect thing, the job of making yourself easier to choose, the job of appearing less affected than you really are, the job of staying pleasant while your inner world is asking for something more solid, the job of pretending that crumbs are a feast because you are afraid there may be nothing else. You can lay those jobs down. You were never hired for them. You do not need to keep managing another person's uncertainty. You do not need to make a case for your value. You do not need to rehearse your goodness until someone finally agrees with you. You do not need to bargain for basic care. There comes a point when self-respect stops asking for permission to exist. It begins to speak in quieter ways. It becomes the message you do not send, the extra explanation you do not offer, the apology you no longer make for having a need, the invitation you do not keep extending to someone who repeatedly remains undecided, the promise you make to yourself that peace will no longer be the price you pay for proximity. This is where the turning begins. not outside you, inside you. The turning begins when your question changes. Instead of asking, "How can I get them to understand me?" you begin asking, "Do I feel understood here?" Instead of asking, "What can I do to make this work?" you begin asking, "Is the work being shared?" Instead of asking, "What if I lose this?" you begin asking, "What am I losing in myself by holding on this way?" These are not harsh questions. They are honest questions. And honesty is one of the kindest forms of self-respect because it ends the exhausting habit of arguing with what you already know. You have probably known more than you admitted. You have known when effort was one-sided. You have known when words were carrying more promise than actions. You have known when you were receiving just enough attention to keep hoping, but not enough steadiness to feel secure. You have known when you were accepting uncertainty because the alternative felt too lonely. You have known when your needs were becoming smaller because you were afraid your real needs might ask too much of the wrong person. None of that makes you foolish. It means you were trying to protect something you cared about. It means you were hoping. It means a tender part of you believed that if you gave a little more, understood a little more, waited a little longer, or became a little easier, the connection might finally settle into the form you had been waiting for. That kind of hope can keep a person reaching far beyond the point where reaching feels good. You may remember times when you were the one starting nearly every conversation. You may remember watching for a reply and feeling your mood rise or fall around a small screen. You may remember receiving a warm message one day and distance the next. You may remember wondering whether you had said too much or too little, or replied too quickly, or seemed too interested, or not interested enough. You may have rewritten messages before sending them because you did not want to appear needy. You may have softened what hurt because you did not want to create tension. You may have accepted explanations that did not truly settle anything because you were afraid asking again would push the other person away. You may have been praised for being understanding while your understanding was slowly costing you your own inner calm. You may have called this patience. You may have called it loyalty. You may have called it giving things time. Sometimes those names were true. Sometimes they covered a deeper fear. The fear that if you asked for more, you would be left with less. The fear that if you stopped reaching, nothing would come toward you. The fear that if you became fully honest about what you wanted, you might discover that the person in front of you could not give it. That discovery can hurt, but living indefinitely inside uncertainty can hurt more. There is a deep tiredness that comes from trying to keep something emotionally alive through your effort alone. It is not always obvious at first. It can look like checking your phone. It can look like replaying conversations. It can look like wondering what changed. It can look like trying to improve yourself for reasons that are not truly about growth. It can look like becoming more attractive, more agreeable, more useful, more available, more impressive, more patient, more forgiving, all while secretly hoping that these improvements will finally earn you the steadiness you wanted from the beginning. Self-improvement becomes painful when it is used as a bargaining chip. You are not here to perfect yourself into being chosen. You are not here to become impossible to leave. You are not here to perform so well that another person can no longer overlook you. The right kind of connection does not require you to win a competition against your own humanity. You get to be human. You get to have needs. You get to have limits. You get to have days when you are not endlessly patient. You get to say that something does not work for you. You get to ask for clarity. You get to step away from what keeps asking you to betray yourself. There is tremendous peace in no longer trying to convince anyone that your needs are reasonable. They do not have to agree with your needs for your needs to be real. Compatibility is not created by one person explaining themselves perfectly. Respect is not created by one person asking more beautifully. Consistency is not created by one person waiting more gracefully. At some point, reality has to be permitted to speak. Reality speaks through patterns. How you feel most of the time. How communication actually happens. Whether repair is shall or red. Whether effort moves in both directions. Whether your nervous system is constantly preparing for distance. Whether you feel free to be truthful. Whether care becomes clearer with time or more confusing. These things matter. And when you begin honoring them, your relationship with yourself changes first. This matters because there is a common misunderstanding about attraction. People often imagine that attraction begins with becoming more desirable to someone else. But there is another kind of attraction that begins when you stop behaving as though your own value depends on being selected. That shift is quiet. You stop leaning forward emotionally. You stop placing your entire sense of possibility in one direction. You stop treating one person's response as the final verdict on your future. You stop asking the outside world to settle an argument that should never have existed inside you. The argument over whether you matter. You matter before the reply. You matter after the silence. You matter when someone sees you clearly. You matter when someone does not have the capacity to see you clearly. You matter in the beginning. You matter in the ending. You matter in the uncertain space between the two. This does not mean every connection must continue. It does not mean everyone who leaves has made a mistake. It does not mean you are always right or that others are always wrong. It means another person's choice can inform your life without defining your identity. That is freedom. And freedom changes the way you relate. When you believe you must keep something at all costs, pressure enters your behavior. You may not say a word about that pressure, yet you feel it. You begin monitoring. You begin adjusting. You begin calculating. You begin trying to protect the outcome. That effort can quietly communicate doubt. It can communicate, I do not trust that I can be met unless I make this happen. It can communicate, I am afraid there will be nothing for me if this does not work. It can communicate, I need this particular response in order to feel secure. There is no shame in having felt those things. Fear makes people reach. Fear makes people try to secure what feels uncertain. Fear can make intelligent people ignore information they would easily see in someone else's situation. And when tenderness is involved, people can remain in confusing situations much longer than they once imagined they would. You do not need to punish yourself for that. You need a new relationship with the fear beneath it. Pressure says, I must make this happen. Self-respect says, I can participate fully without controlling the result. Pressure says, I need to be chosen. Self-respect says, I also choose. Pressure says, I hope I am not too much. Self-respect says, the right fit does not require me to disappear. Pressure says, I should accept this before it goes away. Self-respect says, I can wait for what feels mutual. This is not about playing games. It is not about delaying replies to appear desirable. It is not about withholding affection to create hunger in someone else. It is not about pretending you do not care. Those are still forms of control. They still place your attention on managing another person's reaction. The deeper shift is simpler. You become less interested in performing attraction and more interested in living from inner steadiness. You stop asking, how do I make someone want me? You start living in a way that answers, I will not abandon myself to be wanted. That is where your presence changes, not because you learned a trick, because you became trustworthy to yourself. A person who is trustworthy to themselves does not need every answer immediately. They can sit with uncertainty without turning against themselves. They can be interested without becoming consumed. They can care without over-functioning. They can hope without making hope responsible for ignoring reality. They can be disappointed without translating disappointment into personal failure. They can hear no without deciding it means never. They can let someone be unclear without volunteering to live inside that confusion forever. This steadiness has a natural pull because it does not beg. It does not demand. It does not manipulate. It does not shrink. It creates room for truth. And truth is attractive because it removes the exhausting need for performance. Think about how different it feels to be around someone who is trying to get something from you compared with someone who is present, warm, interested, and still at home in themselves. The difference is often subtle. One feels like pressure, the other feels like space. One asks to be reassured constantly. The other can receive reassurance without making it a daily emergency. One rushes to secure. The other remains available to discover. This does not make calm people better than anxious people. It means calm behavior makes it easier for reality to reveal itself. You can see who comes closer when you are not pulling. You can see who communicates when you are not carrying the conversation. You can see who repairs when you stop doing both sides of the repair. You can see who values time with you when you are not arranging every meeting. You can see who becomes consistent when consistency is not being manufactured for them. This is useful information, not punishment, information. When you stop overperforming, the shape of a connection becomes easier to see. Some relationships become warmer because there is finally room for mutual effort. Some become quieter because your effort had been supplying most of the movement. Some change form, some end, some deepen. The point is not to control which one happens. The point is to stop sacrificing your own inner growl just to prevent an answer you fear. You can survive an honest answer. You have survived so many things you once believed would break you. You have lived through endings. You have lived through disappointment. You have lived through seasons when nothing seemed certain. You have awakened on mornings you thought would feel impossible and somehow continued. There is more strength in you than the frightened part remembers. You do not need to test that strength tonight. You only need to remember that it exists. You can rest without resolving everything. You can leave some questions unanswered. You can stop trying to predict what someone will do. You can stop rehearsing future conversations. You can stop building entire emotional worlds around a message that has not arrived. You can come back to what is actually here, your breath, your room, your body resting. The fact that this moment does not require a decision from anyone else in order to exist. The fact that your life is larger than one connection, larger than one disappointment, larger than one person who could not meet you where you hoped to be met. Your life contains parts of you that have been waiting for your attention to return. Your creativity, your friendships, your humor, your curiosity, your health, your work, your quiet wishes, your future plan. The parts of the day that feel like yours. The parts of yourself that become difficult to hear when another person's behavior becomes too loud inside your mind. They are still here. They have not disappeared. Your attention may have been elsewhere, but these parts of you remained. This is one of the first gifts of no longer overreaching. Your life grows wider again. You stop living in emotional tunnel vision. You stop treating one door as though it were the entire building. You remember that there are many forms of belonging, many forms of affection, many forms of purpose, many forms of joy. Many ways life can become meaningful that have nothing to do with persuading someone to stay. That remembrance changes the atmosphere inside you. It takes the desperation out of wanting. Wanting becomes cleaner. You can desire closeness without demanding that it arrive through one person. You can desire partnership without treating single moments as evidence that you are behind. You can desire tenderness without accepting inconsistency as the admission price. You can desire devotion without rushing to label every spark as destiny. You can want deeply and still remain anchored. That is an important distinction. Detachment does not mean you want nothing. It means your desire is no longer holding your self-respect hostage. You can say, "I would like this," without adding, "I cannot be okay without it." You can say, "I care about this person," without adding, "Therefore I must tolerate anything." You can say, "I hope this grows," without adding, "Therefore I must force the growth." You can say, "This matters to me," without making it the sole measure of whether your life is going well. There is maturity in holding desire with open hands. You do not crush it. You do not deny it. You do not shame yourself for wanting connection. You hold it with dignity. And dignity has a rhythm of its own. There are moments of movement. There are moments of stillness. There are moments when you reach out. There are moments when you wait to see whether anything reaches back. A healthy bond can survive both. It does not require constant pursuit to remain alive. If something disappears the moment you stop carrying it, then stopping has shown you something important. That information may sting. Still, it can save you years of confusion. The mind often resists this because uncertainty feels easier when you are doing something. Sending one more message feels like action. Explaining again feels like action. Trying harder feels like action. Waiting with dignity can feel like doing nothing. But sometimes doing nothing extra is the action. Sometimes not filling every silence is an action. Sometimes letting another person show you who they are without interruption is an action. Sometimes refusing to rescue a pattern is an action. Sometimes honoring your own discomfort is an action. You are still participating. You are just no longer interfering with the information life is giving you. There is an old belief many people carry that says if they stop trying, everything will fall apart. That belief rarely began in adulthood. It can come from early experiences of having to earn warmth, from being praised for being easy, from becoming responsible before you were ready, from learning that harmony depended on you, from discovering that people were happier when you asked for less, from receiving affection after achievement, from living around moods you had to monitor, from becoming skilled at anticipating what others needed while remaining less practiced at naming your own. These lessons can travel quietly into adult relationships. You may become the one who remembers everything, the one who checks in, the one who understands the complicated person, the one who gives another chance, the one who waits, the one who sees potential, the one who explains someone else's behavior to yourself in the most generous possible way. Generosity is beautiful. It becomes painful only when it consistently excludes you. You deserve your own generosity too. You deserve to interpret your feelings with care. You deserve to take your disappointment seriously. You deserve to believe yourself when a pattern keeps hurting. You deserve to stop turning every unmet need into a lesson about becoming less needy. There are needs that should not be trained out of you. Wanting honesty is not a flaw. Wanting consistency is not a flaw. A wanting affection that does not disappear unpredictably is not a flaw. Wanting to know where you stand is not a flaw. Wanting mutual effort is not a flaw. Wanting peace inside a close bond is not a flaw. You may not get these things from every person. That does not mean the desire for them is unreasonable. A boundary begins with this recognition. You do not need the world to provide everything you want. You do need to stop calling what hurts you acceptable when it is not. That is where your inner relationship becomes clean. You stop lying to yourself to keep hope comfortable. You stop decorating uncertainty. You stop naming inconsistency complexity when your body has been telling you for months that something does not feel steady. You stop romanticizing being the one who waits. You stop confusing emotional intensity with depth. You stop interpreting longing as proof that something belongs to you. Longing can be powerful. It can also attach itself to what is unavailable. Intensity can be real. It is still not the same thing as mutuality. Chemistry can be real. It is still not the same thing as character. Potential can be real. It is still not the same thing as a lived relationship. These distinctions protect your heart without closing it. You do not have to become suspicious of everyone. You do not have to analyze every gesture. You do not have to assume the worst. You only have to respect what repeats. Patterns teach. They teach you where effort is flowing. They teach you what a person is ready for. They teach you what you are accepting. They teach you what you have been hoping will change. And your role is not to judge those patterns with cruelty. Your role is to see them clearly enough that you can choose with awareness. That is how you begin teaching life how to meet you differently. Not through demands, not through threats, through participation, through what you continue, through what you stop normalizing, through what you stay available for, through what you walk away from, through the quality of relationship you maintain with yourself. People learn something from the way you treat your own needs. They learn whether your no can be negotiated away. They learn whether inconsistency is followed by endless access. They learn whether silence causes you to abandon your position. They learn whether your limits exist only until you are afraid of losing them. Again, this is not blame. Other people are responsible for their behavior. You are responsible for what you choose once a pattern becomes clear. That responsibility is not heavy. It can become deeply freeing because it means you are not powerless. You cannot make another person become ready. You cannot make another person communicate well. You cannot make another person value what they do not know how to value. You cannot make someone offer a kind of closeness they are unwilling or unable to offer. But you can decide how long you remain available to the gap. You can decide whether confusion gets unlimited access to your time. You can decide whether inconsistency gets renamed as romance. You can decide whether your inner peace will continue waiting outside while you keep letting uncertainty into the center of your life. Those choices belong to you. And when you remember that, something relaxes. You no longer need to solve another person. You no longer need to diagnose their distance. You no longer need to prove that their fear is the reason they cannot come closer. You no longer need to discover the hidden explanation that turns disappointment into hope again. You can let their behavior be enough information for now. That sentence can feel radical if you are used to searching beneath every action for a more comforting meaning. Still, behavior matters. Words matter too. Intentions matter. History matters. Context matters. But over time, the pattern created by all of them matters most. You deserve to live inside something more solid than a collection of explanations. You deserve room to breathe. You deserve to know that your emotional life does not have to remain on call for someone else's indecision. You deserve to sleep, to rest, to have evenings that belong to you, to have mornings that do not begin with checking, to have hours untouched by wondering, to have a body that is not always waiting for the next signal. This inner turn is not about becoming unavailable to closeness. It is about becoming unavailable to self-abandonment. It is about becoming less impressed by intensity and more interested in steadiness, less impressed by words and more attentive to congruence, less impressed by potential and more attentive to what is present, less impressed by being wanted in moments and more interested in being treated with care across time. This is how your expectations begin to mature, not into perfection, into reciprocity, not into fantasy, into reality, not into hardness, into discernment. There is a calm confidence that grows when you stop asking every new possibility to rescue you from your own life. You begin meeting people from fullness rather than emergency. You become curious rather than desperate. You become observant rather than hypervigilant. You stop auditioning. You begin relating. You stop proving. You begin choosing. You stop overgiving in the first chapter. You let trust earn its own pace. You let closeness develop through evidence. You let time reveal what excitement cannot. This changes more than romance. It changes friendships, family dynamics, work relationships, the way you respond to invitations, the way you protect your schedule, the way you speak when something matters, the way you decide what deserves another chance, the way you decide what you decide is not. You begin to understand that self-respect is not one grand declaration. It is a series of ordinary choices made consistently enough that your life starts reflecting them. You go home when you are tired. You say no when you mean no. You ask the question you were afraid would make you inconvenient. You stop volunteering for emotional labor. Nobody requested, but everyone began expecting. You stop explaining a boundary after it has already been stated clearly. You let disappointment be disappointing without rushing to make it acceptable. You stop treating access to you as a permanent entitlement. These choices do not make you difficult. They make you present in your own life. And being present in your own life changes what you can build. Because you are no longer trying to build closeness from a place of quiet resentment. You are no longer saying yes while hoping someone will realize you wanted to say no. You are no longer giving what you cannot sustain. You are no longer creating an image of limitless availability and then feeling unseen when people believe it. Your behavior becomes more truthful. Truth makes healthy connection easier because the other person is finally meeting you rather than a version of you designed to avoid rejection. The real you has preferences. The real you has rhythms. The real you has limits. The real you sometimes wants more. The real you sometimes wants less. The real you is not endlessly adaptable. The real you is not an emotional waiting room. The real you is someone whose life deserves to be inhabited fully. Tonight, you can begin returning to that life. You do not need a dramatic plan. You do not need to decide who stays forever. You do not need to promise yourself that you will never reach first again. That would be another rigid rule. Healthy people reach. Healthy people initiate. Healthy people express care. The issue is not whether you ever move towards someone. The issue is whether you are always the only one moving. The issue is whether reaching has become a way of managing anxiety. The issue is whether your effort is being returned with effort or merely rewarded with occasional attention. The issue is whether you are acting from desire or fear. That distinction will become clearer with practice. You will feel it. Desire has openness in it. Fear has urgency. Desire says, I would enjoy hearing from them. Fear says, I need to hear from them so I can settle. Desire says, I want to see where this goes. Fear says, I must make sure this does not disappear. Desire can wait. Fear tries to secure. Desire leaves room for choice. Fear tries to control the next moment. You do not need to eliminate fear to live differently. You only need to stop letting fear make every decision. You can feel the urge to reach and still wait. You can feel uncertainty and still stay kind to yourself. You can want reassurance and still choose not to beg for it. You can feel disappointed and still remain open to a future you cannot yet see. This is how steadiness is built. One small act of self-trust at a time. One evening where you do not chase clarity from someone who has already shown you confusion. One conversation where you say what you mean without wrapping it in apology. One choice where you remain faithful to what you know matters to you. One night where your mind is permitted to rest from the task of being chosen. There is no race. There is no deadline for becoming this version of yourself. You are not behind. You are practicing. And practice becomes identity through repetition, not through force, not through perfection, through returning, again and again, back to your own center, back to what is true, back to what feels peaceful, back to the understanding that your life does not become more valuable when someone finally recognizes its value. Recognition can be beautiful, it can be meaningful, it can be deeply wanted. Still, it is recognition, not creation. Another person's attention does not create what is already here. Your depth was here before they saw it. Your tenderness was here before they responded to it. Your humor was here before they laughed. Your beauty was here before they admired it. Your capacity for connection was here before they entered your life. And your future remains larger than their decision. You can rest in that tonight. You can begin loosening the old belief that everything depends on what happens next. Everything does not depend on what happens next. Your self-respect can remain. Your life can remain. Your direction can remain. Your capacity to begin again can remain. You can meet tomorrow without having every answer tonight. You can let uncertainty exist without kneeling before it. You can let another person's choice belong to them. You can let your choice belong to you, and you can begin discovering the freedom of no longer leaning your whole life toward what has not yet decided to meet you. There is a reason reaching can become such a strong habit. It can feel safer than waiting. When you act, you get a brief sense that you are doing something about uncertainty. You send the message. You explain again. You offer another chance. You make the invitation easier to accept. You smooth over the awkward moment. You give the benefit of the doubt before the other person has even asked for it. For a little while, action quiets the fear. Then the uncertainty returns. And because reaching helped for a moment, the mind suggests reaching again. This is how a pattern can grow without you consciously choosing it. It does not begin because you lack strength. It often begins because you have a great capacity to care. You know how to invest. You know how to hope. You know how to imagine what could become possible if two people could finally meet in the same place emotionally. those qualities are not problems. They become exhausting only when you use them to compensate for what is not being offered back. There is a difference between bringing warmth into a bond and keeping the entire bond warm by yourself. There is a difference between making effort and supplying the effort that another adult repeatedly chooses not to make. There is a difference between compassion and explaining away every disappointment before you have even admitted that you are disappointed. You can be understanding without disappearing. That may be one of the most important truths you carry into rest tonight. You can understand someone's history and still decide that their behavior does not work for you. You can understand that someone is afraid and still refuse to build your life around their fear. You can understand that someone has been hurt before and still ask to be treated with care now. You can understand that people have limits and still have limits of your own. Compassion does not require self-erasure. It never did. Yet many people learn the opposite. They learn that goodness means endless accommodation. They learn that being mature means never making anyone uncomfortable. They learn that being loving means accepting more than they can actually bear. They learn to call silence patience. They learn to call suppression peace. They learn to call fear loyalty. And because these lessons are often praised, they can be difficult to question. You may have received approval for being the person who could handle anything, the person who did not make a fuss, the person who stayed reasonable, the person who understood everyone's side, the person who could absorb disappointment and keep functioning. That identity may have served you once. It may have helped you survive rooms where asking for more did not feel possible. It may have helped you maintain connection in places where connection felt fragile. It may have taught you how to read people very carefully. But what helped you survive one season does not have to govern every season afterward. You are permitted to update what you learned. You are permitted to discover that being easy to deal with is not the highest form of being good. You are permitted to become more truthful. You are permitted to disappoint someone who benefits from you having no limits. You are permitted to stop confusing your usefulness with your lovability. That last confusion can run deep. If you learn that being useful brought closeness, you may instinctively start giving whenever you fear distance. More time, more care, more flexibility, more emotional labor, more understanding, more access. You give before anyone asks. You anticipate, you solve, you soothe. You prove how valuable your presence can be. And underneath all of that generous movement, a quieter thought may be hiding. If I am valuable enough to you, perhaps you will not. Leave. That thought can turn care into work. It can turn generosity into a private contract the other person never knew they had signed. You give with an unspoken hope that being indispensable will make you secure. Then if the other person remains uncertain, you feel not only disappointed but confused. You gave so much. You tried so hard. You showed how deeply you could care. Why did it not create the certainty you hoped for? because care cannot purchase readiness. Effort cannot purchase compatibility. Patience cannot purchase emotional availability. Being wonderful cannot force another human being to become prepared for what you want to build. This is painful only if you interpret it as proof that you failed. It becomes freeing when you recognize the truth beneath it. You were trying to do a job that never belonged to you. Your job was never to become impossible to lose. Your job was to show up honestly and see what was possible between two free people. Two free people. Not one person proving and another evaluating. Not one person waiting and another deciding. Not one person carrying the future while the other remains half present. Mutual connection is not an examination you pass. It is an experience two people create together. This means you can stop studying for it. You can stop trying to discover the formula that makes you irreplaceable. You can stop wondering whether being prettier, calmer, more successful, less emotional, more mysterious, more agreeable, more independent, or more endlessly forgiving would have changed everything. There will always be some imagined version of you that the anxious mind believes might have produced a different result. If only you had said less. If only you had waited longer. If only you had spoken sooner. If only you had been softer. If only you had been firmer. If only you had seemed less interested. If only you had been more available. The mind can build an endless courtroom out of these possibilities. Every memory becomes evidence. Every conversation becomes a trial. And you become both defendant and prosecutor. You can stop putting yourself on trial. Relationships involve more than one nervous system, more than one history, more than one set of desires, more than one capacity for intimacy. Not every ending has a villain. Not every mismatch has a mistake. Not every unanswered hope means someone failed. Sometimes two people want different things. Sometimes timing matters. Sometimes attraction is present, but capacity is not. Sometimes care exists without compatibility. Sometimes a person can see your goodness and still be unable to meet you where you want to go. None of those realities reduce you. They only describe a situation. Learning to separate situation from identity is one of the quiet foundations of freedom. This did not become what I hoped is a situation. I am impossible to choose is an identity wound. They would not offer consistency is a situation. I always ask for too much is an identity wound. We were not aligned is a situation. There must be something wrong with me is an identity wound. The mind often moves from the first sentence to the second so quickly that you do not realize a leap has happened. Tonight, you can begin interrupting that leap. Not with forced positivity, not by pretending disappointment does not hurt. By becoming more accurate. Accuracy is kinder than self-accusation. If someone could not meet you, that is painful information. It is not a complete biography of who you are. If someone changed their mind, that is difficult information. It is not a prophecy. If someone did not recognize what you hoped they would recognize, that is their experience. It is not the final measurement of your life. You do not need to build identity from every response you receive. Imagine how exhausting that would be. One person's attention makes you feel beautiful. Their distance makes you doubt your beauty. One person's enthusiasm makes you feel fascinating. Their silence makes you doubt whether you have anything to offer. One person's affection makes you feel secure. Their uncertainty makes you question your entire future. That is too much power to place in another person's hands, and it is too much responsibility to place on them too. No human being can safely carry the task of confirming your value every day. Even a deeply caring partner will have tired days, distracted days, confused days, days when they are dealing with their own inner world. If your identity must be continually confirmed from outside, even a healthy relationship can become frightening. Every change in tone becomes a threat. Every request for space becomes a warning. Every delayed reply becomes a story. Every disagreement feels like abandonment approaching. The goal is not to need nobody. Human beings need connection. They need reassurance. They need affection. They need to feel seen. The deeper work is learning not to make each moment of connection responsible for proving that you deserve to exist securely within yourself. You can want reassurance without depending on it for identity. You can enjoy praise without needing praise to remember who you are. You can appreciate being desired without making desire the only mirror you trust. You can miss someone without turning absence into a judgment about yourself. This kind of inner stability is built slowly. It grows through small moments when you choose a kinder interpretation. A message is delayed. Instead of deciding you have done something wrong, you leave the space open. Someone seems distant. Instead of immediately increasing your effort, you remain observant. A plan changes. Instead of assuming rejection, you wait for facts. A connection becomes inconsistent. Instead of competing for certainty, you ask whether inconsistency fits the life you want. The old reflex looks outward first. What did I do? How do I fix this? How do I bring them closer? The new reflex includes you. What is actually happening? How does this affect me? What am I being asked to tolerate? What choice keeps me honest with myself? That is a profound change. You are no longer standing before life with your hand raised, hoping to be selected. You are participating in selection too. You have preferences. You have wisdom. You have experience. You have a voice. You have the right to decide that attraction alone is not enough for you. You have the right to decide that chemistry without reliability is not the kind of closeness you want. You have the right to decide that being wanted occasionally is different from being cared for consistently. You have the right to decide that uncertainty has gone on too long. These decisions do not guarantee what comes next. They do something more immediate. They place you back inside your own life. That is where strength becomes practical, not as a slogan. As behavior, you begin answering reality instead of trying to negotiate with it. If someone repeatedly says they cannot offer commitment, you listen. If someone repeatedly avoids honest conversation, you include that in your understanding of them. If someone says they care, but behaves in ways that leave you chronically unsettled, you do not erase the behavior because the words sound beautiful. If someone treats your boundary like an obstacle to overcome rather than information to respect, you pay attention. You are not gathering evidence for revenge. You are gathering information for choice. Choice becomes much clearer when you stop asking only whether someone likes you. That question is too small. Do they make room for you? Can they communicate? Can they repair? Can they be kind when disappointed? Can they respect your limits? Can they remain honest when honesty is inconvenient? Can they share responsibility for the health of the bond? And equally important, can you do these things too? Self-respect does not mean placing yourself above examination. It means no longer placing yourself below it. You can look honestly at your own patterns without turning honesty into punishment. There may have been moments when fear made you push, moments when you asked for reassurance in ways that felt overwhelming, moments when you stayed silent and expected someone to understand what you had not said, moments when you agreed to something and later resented it, moments when you held on after you knew you were no longer being met. You can learn from these moments. You do not have to become ashamed of them. Shame rarely creates clean change. It usually creates hiding. Compassion makes change easier because it gives you enough safety to tell yourself the truth. You can say, "I did that because I was afraid," and then ask, "What could I do differently next time?" You can say, "I ignored what I knew," and then ask, "How can I listen sooner?" You can say, "I overextended myself," and then ask, "What would sustainable care look like?" You can say, "I kept trying to earn closeness," and then ask, "What would mutual closeness feel like?" This is how the past becomes instruction instead of a prison. You do not need to erase old choices. You need to stop renewing them automatically. Your history does not get permanent authority. There may be an old sentence underneath many of your choices, a sentence so familiar that it can sound like your own voice. I am not quite enough as I am. It can appear in many disguises. I have to be more interesting. I have to be easier. I have to be more attractive. I have to achieve more. I have to be less emotional. I have to ask for less. I have to give more. I have to become whatever makes leaving me harder. That sentence may have been taught without anyone saying it directly. Children learn through atmosphere as much as words. They learn from what receives praise. They learn from what causes withdrawal. They learn from who gets listened to. They learn from how adults handle emotion. They learn whether affection feels steady or conditional. They learn whether mistakes lead to repair or humiliation. They learn whether their needs are welcomed or treated as burdens. A child does not have the language to say, "The adults around me have limitations." A child often concludes, "I must be the problem." That conclusion can remain long after childhood ends. Then adulthood becomes a series of attempts to disprove an accusation you never deserved. You may keep trying to show that you are easy to stay with, easy to care for, easy to choose, easy to forgive, easy to depend on, easy to return to. You may become highly skilled at presenting the parts of yourself that are least likely to create rejection. Meanwhile, the fuller self waits. The self with strong preferences. The self with difficult days. The self who needs reassurance sometimes. The self who gets angry. The self who gets tired. The self who does not always have the perfect response. The self who wants reciprocity. The self who refuses certain forms of treatment. The self who cannot always be convenient. Healing begins when that fuller self is no longer treated as a threat. You do not need to become more lovable by becoming less real. That old sentence was learned. Learned sentences can be revised, not overnight through repetition alone, through experience, through choices, through relationships that do not demand your disappearance, through the way you speak to yourself after disappointment, through the way you honor a limit even when someone does not like it, through the way you stop returning to situations that repeatedly require you to deny what you know. Every time you do that, you create evidence for a new belief. I can trust myself. That belief may matter more than any attempt to become irresistible. Because when you trust yourself, uncertainty loses some of its power. You know that if something becomes unhealthy, you will respond. You know that if someone becomes inconsistent, you will not spend forever inventing reasons to stay confused. You know that if your needs are repeatedly dismissed, you will not keep shrinking them. You know that if someone walks away, you will grieve without walking away from yourself. This is security from the inside. It does not mean nothing hurts. It means hurt no longer automatically becomes self-betrayal. You can cry and still maintain a boundary. You can miss someone and still stay away from what harmed you. You can remember beautiful moments and still accept that the whole relationship did not work. You can feel tenderness towards someone and still choose distance. Human emotion does not have to be neat before your choices become clear. You can hold two truths. I care, and this does not work for me. I wish it were different, and I accept what is happening. I can see their humanity, and I will protect mine. I can forgive, and I do not have to return. This maturity is quiet. It has very little interest in proving a point. It is more concerned with peace than victory, more concerned with truth than being right, more concerned with building a life that feels stable than winning attention from someone who remains uncertain. The old pattern may resist. It may say that stepping back is dangerous. It may say that if you stop doing the work, you will be forgotten. It may say that if you stop reminding someone of your presence, someone else will take your place. It may say that if you stop proving your value, nobody will remember it. These thoughts can feel urgent. You do not have to obey them. An anxious thought is not an instruction. It is a signal. It may be telling you that a younger part of you remembers what it felt like when closeness seemed conditional. That part does not need criticism. It needs evidence that you are here now. You are the adult in your life now. You can choose what happens next. You can create limits. You can leave. You can ask questions. You can seek support. You can rest before responding. You can decide not to pursue what remains unclear. You can comfort yourself without returning immediately to the source of uncertainty. You have options that an earlier version of you may not have had. Remembering this changes fear. Fear becomes a feeling rather than a command. And once fear is no longer commanding every move, you become easier to hear from within. You start recognizing your own preferences before adapting to everyone else's. You start catching the moment when you are about to agree to something you do not actually want. You start hearing the hesitation beneath your automatic yes. You start recognizing when excitement is being mixed with anxiety. You start asking whether you feel calm around someone, not only whether you feel fascinated. You start valuing predictability in ways that once seemed boring. You start seeing that peace is not the absence of passion. It is the absence of unnecessary chaos. For some people, chaos becomes familiar enough that calm feels suspicious. If affection was inconsistent earlier in life, steadiness may not create the same immediate rush. You may mistake activation for chemistry because your body recognizes uncertainty. You may feel intensely drawn to people who keep you guessing. Then someone clear arrives, and part of you wonders where the spark went. This does not mean every calm connection is right for you. It means intensity deserves interpretation. The strongest pull is not always the safest guide. You can learn to include other forms of information. How do you feel after spending time with this person? More like yourself or less? Can you speak naturally, or are you continually editing? Do you feel curious about them or preoccupied with whether they approve of you? Can you enjoy the present, or are you always trying to secure the future? These questions bring you closer to reality. And reality is where mature affection has a chance to grow. You cannot build stability entirely from fantasy. Fantasy has no friction. It can turn a few beautiful moments into an entire imagined future. It can fill silence with meaning. It can turn potential into a promise. Then you begin relating not only to the person in front of you, but to the future you built around them. Losing the connection can then feel like losing years that never actually happened. That grief can be very real. You may grieve a home never shared, trips never taken, conversations never had, ordinary mornings never lived, promises never made. There is no need to mock yourself for this. The imagination becomes involved wherever hope is involved, but you can learn to keep imagination beside reality rather than above it. Let actions earn the future you imagine. Let consistency earn deeper trust. Let time reveal character. Let mutual effort earn greater investment. You do not need to offer the whole future to someone who has only arrived in the first few pages. This is not guardedness, it is pacing. Pacing protects tenderness. It gives you time to see. It gives the other person time to show who they are without being turned into a symbol of everything you have wanted. It gives closeness room to become real. And when something real is being built, you do not need to keep manufacturing movement. Both people begin contributing naturally, not perfectly, not equally in every moment, but visibly. One reaches, the other reaches too. One has a difficult week, the other carries a little more. Then life shifts and the balance shifts with it. There is flexibility without chronic one-sidedness. There is care without accounting. There is room for mistakes without making harm normal. There is repair. There is conversation. There is a sense that both people are participating in the same reality. That kind of connection does not ask you to become smaller to keep it. You can breathe inside it, and even before such a connection appears, you can begin creating that breathing room within yourself. You do that tonight by no longer treating the old accusation as truth. You are not a problem to solve. You are not a performance to perfect. You are not a collection of flaws waiting to be corrected before closeness becomes possible. You are a human being learning what fits, learning what does not, learning when to speak, learning when to step back, learning how to care without losing your center, learning how to accept care without suspicion, learning how to let someone show up for you instead of rushing to do everything first. That last lesson may feel unfamiliar. Receiving requires a kind of courage too. When you are used to doing, being given to can feel vulnerable. You cannot control it. You cannot schedule sincerity. You cannot produce someone else's effort. You have to leave room. You have to see whether they come forward. You have to tolerate the possibility that they might not. And if they do not, you have to resist turning their absence into evidence against yourself. That is why self-trust comes before deeper receiving. You become strong enough to let reality answer. You become willing to find out, not because you know the answer will always please you, because you know you can remain with yourself, whatever the answer is. That is the ground beneath a new standard of living. You do not ask life to spare you every disappointment. You ask yourself not to abandon your own truth when disappointment arrives. You do not demand that everyone recognize you. You choose not to spend years trying to persuade those who do not. You do not need every door to open. You stop breaking yourself against the ones that remain closed. You do not need every person to understand your depth. You begin spending more time where depth is welcomed naturally. There is relief in this. You can stop campaigning, stop auditioning, stop bargaining, stop rehearsing the argument for why you should matter. The case is closed. Your humanity does not require a verdict. Your needs do not need a jury. Your tenderness does not need to defend itself. Your limits do not become invalid because someone dislikes them. You can be deeply kind and still be difficult to manipulate. You can be open-hearted and still be discerning. You can forgive and still remember what a pattern taught you. You can hope and still refuse to live on hope alone. You can care without making yourself responsible for the ending. And as these truths begin settling into you, the old urgency can loosen. Not all at once. It may return tomorrow. It may return when you miss someone. It may return when silence lasts longer than you wanted. It may return when an old pattern is activated. When it does, you do not have to declare that you have failed. You return. You return to the question that protects your center. What is true here? Not what do I fear, not what do I wish, not what can I force. What is true? Then another question, what choice lets me remain in relationship with myself? These questions do not make every decision easy. They make your decisions more honest. And honesty, practiced with compassion, begins to rebuild the trust that years of self-doubt may have worn down. You are learning that you can survive knowing, you can survive seeing, you can survive letting a pattern mean what it means. You can survive an ending. You can survive a disappointment. You can survive being misunderstood. What you no longer need to keep surviving is your own repeated abandonment of yourself. That chapter can begin closing here, quietly, without punishment, without spectacle, without needing anyone else to admit what happened. You can honor what you learned. You can honor what you wanted. You can honor the part of you that tried so hard. Then you can tell that part it does not have to keep working for affection. It does not have to keep watch. It does not have to stay awake trying to secure tomorrow. There is another way to live. A way where care is offered freely, not traded for certainty. A way where desire is present without desperation. A way where your heart remains open while your discernment remains awake. a way where being chosen is beautiful, but choosing wisely matters too. You are moving toward that way now, not because you became someone new tonight, because you are beginning to stop leaving behind the person you have been all along. There are times when your life seems to pull away from what you thought was meant for you. A conversation cools, a plan changes, a person becomes less available. Something that once felt close begins to feel distant. The first instinct can be to follow it, to move toward what is moving away, to close the distance before it grows, to reach across the silence, to restore the old closeness before you even understand why it changed. Yet there is another way to meet these moments. You can remain where you are long enough to learn what distance is trying to show you. Think of the tide. There are hours when the water comes close to the shore. It reaches farther across the sand. It covers places that were dry only a short while before. Then there are hours when it recedes. The line of water moves back. More ground becomes visible. What was hidden appears. The shoreline changes shape. If you saw only that one moment, you might think something had gone wrong. You might look at the widening stretch of sand and call it absence. You might call it loss. You might assume the sea had forgotten where it belonged. But the sea is not confused. It is moving according to a rhythm larger than the single moment you are watching. Its retreat is not a failure. Its return is not a reward. The movement itself is natural. This is the image to carry with you tonight. Not because people behave like tides, not because anyone is guaranteed to return, but because your own inner life also has rhythms. There are times when your attention moves outward, toward another person, toward possibility, toward connection, toward hope, and there are times when your attention must come back. Back to your own shore, back to the parts of yourself that became quiet while you were waiting, back to the truth of what you need, back to the life that still belongs to you even when a relationship becomes uncertain. The problem begins when every outward movement is treated as permanent, when you believe that because you care deeply, you must keep leaning in the same direction forever. When you believe that because something once felt close, you must keep pulling it toward you even after the rhythm has changed. When you believe that distance always means you should increase effort. Sometimes distance is information. Sometimes it gives you room to see what closeness had hidden. When the water moves back, the shore does not run after it. The shore does not panic. It does not cross the sand trying to pull the sea forward. It remains where it is, present, whole, still itself. And because it remains, the changing line becomes visible. You can learn from that. You can let your inner ground remain. You can stop moving every time someone else moves. You can stop treating another person's change in pace as an emergency. You can give yourself enough stillness to understand what is actually happening. This does not mean becoming passive. It means becoming less reactive. there is a difference. Passivity says, nothing I do matters. Steadiness says, I will choose my response instead of being pushed by fear. Passivity abandons choice. Steadiness protects choice. When you live from steadiness, you can respond to what is real rather than what anxiety predicts. If someone needs space, you can decide whether that space works for you. If someone is uncertain, you can decide how much uncertainty you are willing to share. If someone becomes distant, you can decide whether to ask a clear question. If the answer remains unclear, you can decide what you will do with that information. You are not helpless in the face of another person's movement. You just do not control their movement. Those are very different truths. One gives you responsibility. The other releases you from an impossible task. You are responsible for your side, for your honesty, for your limits, for the promises you make to yourself, for the way you respond when reality differs from what you hoped. You are not responsible for forcing another person's timing into agreement with yours. You are not responsible for making someone ready. You are not responsible for creating sincerity inside another person. You are not responsible for convincing someone that what you offer is precious. Your responsibility is simpler. Do not leave your own shore trying to become the sea. Stay with yourself. Stay close enough to hear yourself. Stay long enough to recognize what you actually want. You may have spent many years doing the opposite. When someone pulled away, you moved closer. When someone became unclear, you worked harder to understand. When someone offered less, you tried to become more valuable. When the emotional distance widened, you began searching for ways to cross it alone. This can create an exhausting illusion, the illusion that movement is always progress. It is not. Sometimes movement is panic wearing the clothes of devotion. Sometimes activity is fear trying to avoid an answer. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is stop adding more motion. The shore remains, and in remaining, it learns. It learns what comes near naturally. It learns what leaves. It learns that no single wave defines the whole coast. It learns that emptiness is not always emptiness. Sometimes the water has moved back and revealed more ground. That exposed ground matters. It is where you can see what was covered. In your own life, distance can reveal things too. You may see how much of your day had become organized around another person's attention. You may see how often you interrupted your own peace to check for a response. You may see how many excuses you were making. You may see how quickly your standards changed when you were afraid of being left. You may see how frequently you confused possibility with commitment. You may see how little room you were leaving for yourself. This kind of seeing can feel uncomfortable. Still, it is useful. A shoreline revealed is not a punishment. It is information. You do not need to hate what you discover. You can study it with compassion. You can say, I did not realize how far I had leaned away from myself. You can say, I understand why I was afraid. You can say, I can choose differently now. The purpose of awareness is not humiliation. It is direction. Once you can see where you left yourself, you can begin returning. Returning may look very ordinary. You stop opening the same conversation again and again when nothing new has happened. You stop rereading old messages for hidden reassurance. You stop imagining explanations for another person's silence. You stop putting your own plans on hold while waiting for uncertain plans from someone else. You begin making choices that do not depend on another person's availability. You return to the people who have shown steady care. You return to interests that once made time disappear in a healthy way. You return to sleep. You return to appetite. You return to your own schedule. You return to the quiet authority of deciding how you want your life to feel. Each return strengthens the shore, not into something hard, into something defined. That matters. Because without definition, every wave can redraw you. Every new person can become the center. Every new hope can reorganize your life. Every disappointment can convince you to lower the bar. Definition means you know where you stand. You know what matters to you. You know which forms of treatment create closeness and which create confusion. You know what you are willing to work through. You know what you are no longer willing to normalize. You know that affection alone cannot make instability sustainable. You know that wanting someone does not automatically make them right for you. You know that a connection can be meaningful without becoming permanent. That kind of clarity changes attraction because you are no longer meeting every possibility with hunger. You are meeting it with presence. You are not asking, will this save me from loneliness? You are asking, what is this actually offering? You are not asking, how can I keep this? You are asking, what happens between us when neither person is forcing? You are not asking, how do I become unforgettable? You are asking, can I remain myself here? Those questions carry a different quality. They create space. And space can reveal what pursuit obscures. When you stop rushing forward, you can see whether the other person knows how to move toward you. When you stop filling every silence, you can see whether conversation has two voices. When you stop offering endless flexibility, you can see whether your needs are respected. When you stop lowering the bar to preserve possibility, you can see whether possibility has the strength to become something real. This is not a test. You do not withdraw affection to make someone prove themselves. You do not create artificial scarcity. You do not perform indifference. You do not manipulate distance. You remain honest, warm, clear, and rooted enough to let the other person be honest too. That is where healthier attraction begins, not in strategy, in reality. If two people move toward each other, you can feel it. If only one person is moving, you can feel that too. Your task is to stop translating one-sided effort into romantic depth. The sea does not become more committed because the shore begs, and your life does not become more aligned because you overextend yourself. You can care without overextending. You can express interest without turning interest into pursuit. You can initiate and then leave room. You can speak honestly and then listen to the answer. You can make an invitation without repeatedly rescuing it. You can show someone who you are without selling them on why they should choose you. That is the turn. Your attention stops running ahead of reality. It starts traveling at the pace of evidence. Evidence is not cold, it is loving. It protects imagination from having to do all the work. It lets hope breathe without making hope responsible for facts. It keeps you connected to what is happening now. Someone says they care. Good. How do they behave? Someone says they want closeness. Good. Do they make room for it? Someone says they are trying. Good. Does the pattern begin changing? You do not ask these questions like an investigator. You simply live long enough to see the answer. Time reveals what urgency tries to skip. The old pattern wants the answer immediately. The steadier self can let the answer emerge. This is one reason self-respect changes the quality of your relationships. You stop demanding certainty before certainty has had time to form. And you stop pretending certainty exists when it does not. You become more comfortable saying, I am still seeing. There is strength in that sentence. You do not have to decide that someone is your future because the beginning feels powerful. You do not have to decide that someone is wrong for you because one imperfect moment occurs. You can observe. You can stay awake to patterns. You can keep your own life moving. You can let closeness earn depth gradually. The shore does not ask every wave to become permanent. It meets what arrives. It lets each movement be what it is. You can do something similar with human connection. A beautiful conversation can be a beautiful conversation. A meaningful season can be a meaningful season. A kind person can still be the wrong partner for you. A strong attraction can still require discernment. An ending can still contain something valuable. You do not have to turn every experience into forever for it to matter. This releases enormous pressure. You can appreciate without gripping. You can care without predicting. You can participate without possessing. You can remain open without handing over your entire future. And because you are less afraid of losing every good thing, you are less likely to squeeze the life out of it. Pressure changes relationships. Even when pressure is not spoken, it can shape behavior. You start asking questions whose real purpose is reassurance. You start reading ordinary changes as danger. You start requesting certainty that the relationship has not yet had time to build. You start accepting things you do not want because losing the bond feels worse than losing yourself. Then the connection becomes crowded with fear. By contrast, inner steadiness creates room. You can ask clear questions because you want truth, not because you are trying to force a preferred answer. You can express a desire without demanding agreement. You can hear another person's limit without making it a judgment about you. You can state your own limit without treating it as a threat. You can discover incompatibility earlier because you are no longer trying to negotiate every difference away. This is powerful. The earlier you can accept what does not fit, the less time you spend trying to turn incompatibility into destiny. Not every mismatch needs healing. Some mismatches need recognition. One person may want a level of closeness the other does not. One may value communication differently. One may be ready to build while the other is not. One may need a kind of stability the other cannot currently offer. No amount of affirmation can erase those differences, and no healthy practice should ask you to deny them. Words can strengthen your relationship with yourself. They can help you clarify what you want. They can help you interrupt old fear. They can help you feel more prepared to choose well. They cannot make another person become a specific outcome. That freedom matters. Because if your inner work were only valuable when it produced one particular person, then your growth would still be tied to external approval. Your inner work is valuable because it changes how you stand in your own life. It changes what you tolerate. It changes what you recognize. It changes how quickly you return to yourself after disappointment. It changes how much truth you are willing to see. It changes your capacity to meet affection without losing your center. That is a result no one else can take away. The sea can move. The weather can change. The line between water and land can shift. The shore still has its place. Let that become your lesson tonight. Your place is not dependent on who is moving toward you. Your place is not dependent on who is moving away. Your place is not dependent on who understood you correctly. Your place is not dependent on who failed to see what you hoped they would see. You belong inside your own life. That belonging comes first. From there, everything else becomes easier to evaluate. If a connection invites you to become more honest, more peaceful, more fully yourself, you can explore it. If a connection repeatedly asks you to become smaller, more anxious, less truthful, you can pay attention. If a person honors your limits, that matters. If they mock them, pressure them, or repeatedly cross them, that matters too. If you ever find yourself in a connection that harms your body, frightens you, isolates you, threatens you, or wears down your spirit, Affirmations alone are not the answer. Real support matters. Safety matters. Trusted people matter. Professional help can matter. You do not have to transform danger into a lesson in positive thinking. You do not have to stay in harm to prove that you are compassionate. Your inner work should support reality, not replace it. And reality sometimes says, get help. Reality sometimes says, leave. Reality sometimes says, this is bigger than a sentence repeated before sleep. There is dignity in accepting that. Your self-respect includes practical care. It includes who has access to you. It includes what happens when a boundary is ignored. It includes whether your body feels safe. It includes whether your voice can exist without fear. It includes whether your life is becoming larger or smaller inside a bond. These are serious forms of wisdom. They belong beside tenderness. You can be spiritual and practical, hopeful and discerning, open-hearted and protected. There is no contradiction. The deeper your respect for yourself becomes, the less you need to confuse suffering with devotion. You begin to understand that care should not require constant self-betrayal. You begin to understand that longing is not an obligation. You begin to understand that forgiveness does not automatically restore access. You begin to understand that someone can matter to you and still not belong in the closest parts of your life. These understandings are not failures of the heart. They are signs that the heart is learning to live alongside wisdom. This is where a new inner statement can begin taking shape. Not a statement designed to command another person. Not a statement demanding that life obey your preferred timeline. A statement about how you intend to stand. A statement about the rhythm you trust in yourself. A statement about how far you are willing to leave your own center for the sake of being chosen. Let the words come slowly. I return to myself, and I welcome what meets me there. Do not rush past them. I return to myself, and I welcome what meets me there. You are not calling anyone back. You are calling yourself back. You are not demanding that a particular door open. You are choosing where you will stand when doors appear. You are not asking the future to obey you. You are deciding how you will meet the future. I return to myself, and I welcome what meets me there. If part of you resists that sentence, let it. Resistance does not mean the words are wrong. It may mean the old habit still believes security comes from pursuit. It may ask, what if I return to myself and nobody comes? That is an honest fear. You do not need to silence it with grand promises. You can answer more quietly. Then I will still be with myself. That is enough for tonight. Not enough for every human need. Not enough to eliminate the importance of companionship. Enough to begin. Enough to stop abandoning your own ground. Enough to become more careful about where you place your devotion. Enough to, remember that solitude and rejection are not the same thing. Enough to keep your future open. If the stronger affirmation feels too far away, use a smaller one. I am willing to come back to myself, that is all. I am willing to come back to myself. Willingness is powerful because it does not demand that you feel transformed before you begin. You can still miss someone. You can still feel uncertain. You can still have questions, and you can be willing to return. You can still hope and return. You can still care and return. You can still remember and return. Each return teaches your inner world something new. I do not disappear when someone becomes distant. I do not become less because a connection changes. I do not have to run after what is unclear. I can remain. I can listen. I can choose. This is the rhythm you are learning. Outward, when there is something honest to share. Inward, when you need your own company. Toward, when effort is mutual. Back when you have gone too far from yourself. Neither movement is failure. Neither movement needs shame. You are learning to move with discernment. There may be days when you reach again from old fear. Do not turn one old habit into a reason to condemn yourself. Return. There may be days when you check too often. Return. There may be days when an unanswered message unsettles you. Return. There may be days when you make excuses for a pattern you already understand. Return. You are not trying to become flawless. You are becoming easier for yourself to come home to. The more often you come back, the less frightening distance becomes. You learn that you can tolerate a quiet evening. You learn that your phone can remain still while your life continues. You learn that another person's uncertainty does not need to become your full-time occupation. You learn that desire can move through you without controlling you. You learn that you can be disappointed and remain whole. This creates a new kind of confidence. Not confidence that everyone will want you. That would be impossible. Confidence that you no longer need everyone to. Not confidence that every relationship will stay. Confidence that you can respond with integrity when one does not. Not confidence that you will never hurt. Confidence that pain does not have to make you abandon your standards. This confidence is quieter than performance. It does not need to announce itself. It shows in pacing, in choices, in what you no longer explain, in what you no longer pursue, in the way you stop handing endless chances to patterns that have already answered, in the way you let mutuality become visible instead of constantly helping it along. The shore does not earn its place. It has one. You do not earn your right to have limits. You have that right. You do not earn the right to ask for honesty. You have that right. You do not to earn the right to leave what repeatedly diminishes you. You have that right. You do not earn the right to protect your peace by becoming perfect first. You have that right now. Let this settle deeper than any strategy. The purpose is not to become someone others cannot resist. The purpose is to become someone you no longer have to betray. From there, attraction becomes cleaner. You can let people come close without immediately handing them authority over your self-image. You can let them know you without shaping every detail around their approval. You can let them choose, and you can choose too. You can let a connection breathe. You can let time work. You can let the truth arrive at its own pace. You can let what withdraws reveal what remains. And what remains tonight is you, still here, still capable of tenderness, still capable of beginning again, still capable of choosing more carefully, still capable of being surprised by life, still capable of letting closeness find you without losing yourself inside it. You do not have to run after the water. You can strengthen the shore. You can become more at home in your own life. You can let your expectations rise from self-respect rather than fear. You can let your choices become slower, clearer, cleaner. You can stop mistaking urgency for destiny. You can stop mistaking uncertainty for depth. You can stop mistaking the need to be chosen for proof that something is right. The tide moves, the shore remains, and tonight you are learning how to remain. The stronger your relationship with yourself becomes, the less often you have to announce what you deserve. Your choices begin saying it for you. You stop giving endless access to what repeatedly leaves you unsettled. You stop agreeing to arrangements that make you feel small just because you are afraid there may be no better option. You stop calling yourself demanding for wanting clarity. You stop asking whether your needs are acceptable to someone who benefits from you having none. And slowly, the way you move through connection changes. There is less bargaining, less explaining, less trying to make another person understand why something hurts after the same pattern has already been named. There is more listening, more observing, more patience with truth, more willingness to let actions carry their own meaning. This is how a stronger standard begins, not as a wall, not as a threat, not as a list of impossible requirements. It begins as a decision about what kind of life you can live peacefully. That distinction matters. A demand tries to control someone else. A boundary guides what you will do. A demand says, you must become different. A boundary says, I will decide what I participate in. A demand says, you cannot disappoint me. A boundary says, I will pay attention when disappointment becomes a pattern. A demand tries to govern another person's choices. A boundary brings you back to your own. This is why boundaries can feel calmer than people expect. They do not always need a long speech. Sometimes they sound like a clear no. Sometimes they sound like a simple request. Sometimes they sound like, that does not work for me. Sometimes they do not require words at all. You stop volunteering. You stop returning to the same argument. You stop making yourself available at every hour. You stop rearranging your whole life around uncertainty. You stop saying yes when your entire body has already answered no. There is no performance in this. There is only congruence. What you know inside begins matching what you do outside. That alignment can feel unfamiliar if you have spent years overriding yourself. At first, even a small boundary may create guilt. You may wonder whether you are being selfish. You may worry that someone will misunderstand you. You may feel tempted to add several paragraphs of explanation so nobody can possibly think badly of you. You may want to soften the boundary until it no longer protects anything. This is where practice matters. You can be kind without making your limit negotiable. You can be warm without opening a debate. You can care about another person's feelings without making those feelings the final authority over your decision. Discomfort is not always a sign that you have done something wrong. Sometimes discomfort is what old conditioning feels like when you stop obeying it. If you have spent years earning closeness through accommodation, saying no may feel dangerous even when the situation is safe. If you have spent years being the flexible one, asking someone else to meet you halfway may feel almost rude. If you have spent years confusing sacrifice with devotion, balance may initially feel like withdrawal. Give yourself time. You are learning a new rhythm. The tide does not remain pressed against the shore at every hour. Movement does not mean rejection. Space does not automatically mean loss. A pause does not automatically mean punishment. And your own stepping back does not have to be a tactic. You can step back because you need perspective, because you need rest, because you have already expressed yourself, because there is nothing more to add, because another person deserves the freedom to reveal what they actually choose when you stop directing every movement. This is very different from withholding affection to trigger pursuit. You do not have to become distant so someone will come closer. That still places your focus on controlling their response. Instead, let your actions be truthful. If you want to reach out, you can reach out. If you have been reaching repeatedly without mutual movement, you can pause. If you need a conversation, you can ask for one. If the conversation is continually avoided, you can include tea. Had avoidance in your understanding of the connection. Your standard is not that everyone responds exactly as you want. Your standard is that you stop abandoning reality when reality becomes inconvenient. That is a quieter form of strength. You can stop negotiating against your own perception. You can say, I see what is happening, then remain kind. You can say, I wish it were different, then remain honest. You can say, I care, then remain grounded. You can say, this is not enough for me, then resist the urge to turn that sentence into an accusation. Two people can want different things. Two people can have different capacities. Two people can care and still not be able to create the same future. Clarity does not require cruelty. Sometimes dignity sounds like blessing someone inwardly and still walking in another direction. Sometimes it means accepting an answer you did not want. Sometimes it means realizing that the relationship you imagined and the relationship available to you are not the same. That realization may bring grief. Let grief be grief. Do not immediately turn it into self-criticism. Do not use disappointment as evidence that you aim too high. Do not lower your expectations only because one person could not meet them. What matters is whether those expectations are rooted in mutual respect, honesty, emotional safety, and reality. Wanting perfection will exhaust you. Wanting consistent care is different. Wanting mind reading will disappoint you. Wanting communication is different. Wanting someone never to have a difficult season is unrealistic. Wanting them to remain accountable for how they treat you during that season is different. Wanting constant attention is not sustainable. Wanting a bond where you do not have to beg for basic presence is different. You can refine what you ask for without abandoning what matters. That is maturity. You become less interested in fantasy and more interested in quality. Less interested in impressive beginnings and more interested in stable patterns. Less interested in being overwhelmed by attention and more interested in whether care remains when life becomes ordinary. Ordinary life tells the truth. Not only the exciting first conversations, not only the beautiful promises, not only the moments when both people are at their best. How does someone behave when tired? How do they handle misunderstanding? What happens when you disagree? Do they remain respectful? Can they apologize? Can you? Can both of you speak without fear that honesty will be punished? Can affection coexist with responsibility? Can closeness survive a boundary? These are not romantic questions in the dramatic sense. They are more useful than drama, because the life you eventually live with someone is made mostly of ordinary moments. Meals, schedules, messages, responsibilities, bad moods, plans changing, small repairs, quiet evenings. The ability to remain decent through ordinary strain matters more than a grand declaration made during an extraordinary hour. Your standards become wiser when you remember this. You stop asking only whether you feel desired. You begin asking whether you feel respected. You stop asking only whether someone misses you. You begin asking whether they know how to show up. You stop asking only whether the connection is intense. You begin asking whether it is sustainable. You stop asking only whether they say you matter. You begin seeing whether their choices make room for you. This does not turn the heart into an interview. It brings the heart into partnership with discernment. You need both. A heart without discernment can keep giving long after giving becomes harmful. Discernment without a heart can become fear dressed as wisdom. You are not trying to live at either extreme. You are learning to remain open while awake, soft while clear, hopeful while grounded, interested while still able to walk away from what repeatedly contradicts your deepest needs. There is tremendous freedom in knowing that attraction does not obligate you. You can feel drawn to someone and still choose not to build with them. You can have history with someone and still decide the history is not a reason to repeat itself. You can miss someone and still decide that missing them is safer than returning to an unhealthy pattern. You can remember the best moments without forgetting the whole truth. You can appreciate what was beautiful without making beauty responsible for canceling what was painful. This kind of honesty strengthens you. It also protects your ability to remain tender. Because when you trust yourself to leave what becomes harmful, you do not need to close your heart to everything in advance. You can meet new people without assuming they will repeat the past. You can let someone earn trust at a natural pace. You can enjoy what is unfolding without demanding guarantees. You can be receptive without being indiscriminate. You can let closeness approach your shore without handing over the entire coastline. You still have a life. You still have friendships, responsibilities, private dreams, moments of quiet, parts of yourself that deserve attention whether you are partnered or not. This is one of the most attractive forms of wholeness, not pretending you need nobody. Knowing that connection is an addition to your life, not permission to have one. You do not stop valuing partnership. You stop treating partnership as proof that you have succeeded as a person. You do not stop wanting affection. You stop using affection as a measurement of your basic value. You do not stop enjoying being chosen. You remember that being chosen by someone unsuitable is not automatically a blessing. Your own ice matters. Your own discernment matters. Your own peace matters. This is where receiving changes. Many people say they want to be cared for, yet when care arrives, they immediately start repaying it. Someone helps. They rush to help twice as much. Someone gives. They become uncomfortable until they can give something back. Someone shows affection. They immediately worry about how to earn more. Someone makes an effort. They feel pressure to prove they were worth the effort. Receiving can feel vulnerable because you are not controlling the exchange. You are letting something reach you. If you learned that nothing came without a price, simple generosity may make you uneasy. If you learn to earn everything, being given to may feel suspicious. If you learned that help creates debt, accepting care may make you restless. You can begin changing this in small ways. Let a compliment land. Do not argue with it. Let someone help without immediately competing with their kindness. Let someone make the plan. Let someone remember. Let someone check on you. Let someone offer. Let someone carry their share. You are not becoming passive. You are making room for reciprocity. A relationship cannot become mutual if you insist on doing every part before the other person has a chance. Leave some space. The tide needs somewhere to arrive. Your life needs places that are not already crowded with over-functioning. This may mean letting a message sit for a while because you are busy living, not because you are trying to seem unavailable. It may mean letting another person suggest the next meeting. It may mean refusing to rescue every awkward silence. It may mean resisting the impulse to solve a problem someone else is capable of addressing. It may mean saying thank you instead of saying you didn't have to. Of course they did not have to. That is part of what makes kindness meaningful. Receive it. Let good things be good without immediately converting them into obligation. You do not have to earn every pleasant experience twice. You can enjoy care. You can enjoy attention. You can enjoy a thoughtful gesture. You can enjoy being considered, and you can remain yourself while enjoying it. That is different from becoming dependent on it. You let the water touch the shore. You do not demand that it remain there forever. You enjoy the moment. You stay aware. You keep your footing. This is how openness becomes safer. You are not asking for guarantees. You are relying on your ability to respond. There is a great difference between trying to guarantee that nothing painful ever happens and knowing that you will care for yourself if something painful does happen. The first creates control. The second creates trust. You cannot control every future ending. You can trust yourself not to disappear inside one. You cannot control whether someone changes. You can trust yourself to observe the change. You cannot control whether another person chooses differently. You can trust yourself not to make their choice the entire definition of you. This trust lets your heart breathe. It means you do not have to hold relationships with a clenched hand. You can hold them with presence, with gratitude, with discernment, with a willingness to learn what they truly are. You stop trying to secure forever during moments that have only promised today. You stop demanding permanence from beginnings. You stop confusing possession with safety. Safety grows from the quality of the bond and the quality of the relationship you maintain with yourself. A healthy connection will not require you to erase the second in order to preserve the first. Keep that close. Your relationship with yourself travels into every room with you. It is there before the date, during the conversation, after the message, inside the disagreement, during the silence, at the beginning, at the ending. Wherever you go, you are still the person who must live with your choices. Make those choices easier to respect. You do not need to ask, what choice guarantees I will not lose them? Ask, what choice can I live with honestly? Sometimes that will mean speaking, sometimes waiting, sometimes apologizing, sometimes giving another chance, sometimes declining another chance, sometimes asking for more information, sometimes accepting that you already have enough information. There is no single rule for every relationship. There is a deeper principle. Do not keep leaving yourself behind. If you made a mistake, return. If you overgave, return. If you ignored something, return. If fear took over for a while, return. If you found yourself waiting for another person's attention to decide whether your day was good, return. The shore is still there. No mistake removes it. No old pattern destroys your capacity to begin differently. This is why self-forgiveness belongs beside stronger standards. Without forgiveness, standards can become punishment. You might tell yourself you will never trust again, never open again, never give another chance, never show vulnerability. That can feel powerful immediately after pain, but power built entirely from fear becomes another prison. You are not learning to close. You are learning to choose. You can remain available to good things, available to honest friendship, available to sincere affection, available to people who communicate, available to connection that does not require detective work, available to being surprised by kindness, available to the possibility that a relationship can feel calmer than what you once mistook for passion, available to the possibility that you can be wanted without performing, available to the possibility that someone can appreciate your full humanity, including the parts that are not polished. You do not have to know who that will be. You do not have to picture a face. You do not have to attach this practice to one outcome. Readiness is enough. You are preparing yourself to recognize what is healthier when it appears. And equally important, you are preparing yourself to recognize what is not. This is what a higher standard really gives you. Not superiority, discernment. You do not become better than people whose needs differ from yours. You become clearer about fit. Someone who wants something casual is not automatically wrong. You may simply want something different. Someone who needs more space is not automatically uncaring. You may simply need a level of connection they do not want to provide. Someone may be kind and still incompatible. Someone may be sincere and still unavailable. Someone may have good intentions and still repeatedly hurt you. You can honor their humanity without volunteering to live against your own nature. There is no prize for enduring a mismatch the longest. There is no medal for being the person who asks for the least. There is no sacred virtue in staying where your inner life is continually contracting. You are allowed to choose environments where you can breathe. And if a connection crosses into fear, coercion, physical harm, threats, isolation, stalking, or repeated emotional degradation, treat that seriously. These words can support your self-respect. They cannot replace safety planning, trusted support, professional guidance, or practical help. No affirmation requires you to remain close to danger. No spiritual idea asks you to explain away harm. Protecting yourself is not a failure to be loving. It is an act of reality. Your body matters. Your safety matters. Your freedom matters. Your voice matters. Hold that without apology. Then return to the simpler choices that shape ordinary relationships. Where do you keep saying yes while meaning no? Where are you making yourself responsible for another adult's comfort? Where are you investing heavily before trust has had time to develop? Where are you pretending that confusion does not affect you? Where are you afraid that a reasonable request will make you less desirable? You do not need to answer all of these tonight. Some answers may come without effort once the noise settles. Your task is not to interrogate yourself. It is to become available to your own truth. Truth tends to become clearer when you stop arguing with it. And when it becomes clear, your next movement may be very small. One less explanation. One honest request. One evening protected. One invitation declined. One expectation expressed. One old conversation left unopened. One promise to yourself kept. Small choices can alter the direction of an entire life. The tide does not transform the shore in a single dramatic gesture. It touches, withdraws, returns, shapes, reveals. Over time, the lead changes. Your life changes that way too. 1,000 ordinary acts of self-respect eventually become the atmosphere you live in. People may sense it before you have words for it. You are less rushed, less available for ambiguity that stretches without end, less eager to impress, more interested in observing, more comfortable saying what you want, more willing to hear a truthful answer. This is magnetic in the healthiest sense, not because everyone will suddenly move toward you. They will not. Some people may move away when you become clearer. That can be useful. A stronger standard does not increase universal approval. It improves alignment. It helps what fits become easier to recognize. It helps what does not fit become harder to romanticize. That is a far more grounded promise than becoming irresistible. You do not need to be irresistible. You need to be available for what respects your humanity. There is a deep peace in understanding this. You can stop trying to become everyone's preference. You can stop modifying yourself for imaginary judges. You can stop treating every rejection as an instruction to redesign your personality. There are people you will not fit. There are rooms that will not understand you. There are hearts that will not open in your direction. This is part of being human. It does not cancel the places where you will be welcomed. It does not cancel the relationships where effort feels shared. It does not cancel the people who will appreciate qualities others overlooked. Your future does not have to be predicted tonight. It only needs room. Room is created when you stop filling every empty space with the past. Room is created when you stop carrying half-finished connections as permanent emotional responsibilities. Room is created when you stop rehearsing how someone might return, change, apologize, or finally understand. Maybe they will change. Maybe they will not. Your life cannot remain suspended between those possibilities. You have today. You have this breath. You have choices that exist independently of anyone else's timeline. Your attention is precious. Spend it with intention. Give some to what nourishes you. Give some to what you are building. Give some to people who have already shown care. Give some to your own quiet. You do not need to pour all of it toward the horizon, searching for one returning wave. The sea is larger than one wave. Your life is larger than one story. Keep remembering that. You can release a single outcome without releasing hope itself. You can release one person without deciding connection is impossible. You can release an old pattern without becoming cynical. You can release urgency without releasing desire. You can still want, still dream, still open, still care. Only now you stand differently while you do it. I return to myself, and I welcome what meets me there. Let it settle again, not as a spell, as an orientation. I return to myself, and I welcome what meets me there. You are teaching your mind where home is. I return to myself, and I welcome what meets me there. And if the stronger sentence still feels distant, keep the smaller one close. I am willing to come back to myself. That willingness may be enough to change tonight. Enough to put the phone down, enough to stop rehearsing, enough to stop scanning the future, enough to place one hand over your own life instead of reaching into someone else's. If this message marks that shift for you, you can comment magnetic as a quiet declaration that you are choosing mutuality over pursuit. Then let the declaration remain simple. You do not need to prove it tomorrow. You practice it. You practice by pausing before automatically reaching, by asking what is true, by giving other people room to reveal themselves, by letting your own needs count in the equation, by recognizing when a pattern has already answered, by refusing to turn mixed signals into a personal mission, by staying kind, by staying clear, by becoming less interested in being selected at any cost. This is the beginning of a different posture. You are no longer begging the water to stay at your feet. You are learning the strength of the shore. It does not run. It does not plead. It does not become less when the tide recedes. It remains ready for what comes near without losing itself to what moves away. Let your standard become that kind of steadiness, clear enough to protect you, soft enough to keep your heart alive, strong enough to survive disappointment, open enough to recognize something healthy when it finally stands before you. You are not promising yourself a perfect future. You are promising yourself a more honest relationship with whatever future arrives, and that promise can begin tonight. Now the work becomes quieter. You have looked at the reaching. You have looked at the fear beneath it. You have looked at the old lessons that taught you to earn what should never have required self-erasure. You have looked at the places where your attention left you and traveled too far toward another person's response. And now there is less to solve. There is more to inhabit. You do not need another argument with the past tonight. You do not need to prove that you understand every pattern. You do not need to turn insight into another task. You can let what you have seen become simple. You belong with yourself. Your needs belong in your life. Your limits belong in your life. Your tenderness belongs in your life. Your future belongs in your life before it belongs inside anyone else's plans. This is where the inner posture changes. You are no longer bending toward every possibility as though it may be your last. You are no longer treating uncertainty like a door you must keep knocking on. You are no longer making every pause mean something terrible. You are learning that quiet can be neutral. Space can be neutral. Waiting can be neutral. An unanswered question can remain unanswered for a night. A future can remain unwritten without becoming threatening. You can sleep before life explains itself. That may be one of the most important freedoms you develop, the freedom to rest while something remains unresolved, to lie down without finishing the story, to close your eyes without knowing what another person will decide, to let tomorrow arrive without preparing 10 different versions of yourself for it. There is nothing careless about this. Rest does not mean you stopped caring. It means care is no longer required to stay awake all night. Your heart does not have to stand guard. Your mind does not have to keep circling the same facts. You have already learned something. What is mutual will not need to be dragged across the distance by one person forever. What is honest can survive a clear question. What is respectful can survive a boundary. What is suited to your life will not need you to become smaller in order to keep it. And what does not fit can still teach you without becoming your home. Let those truths become quieter now, not weaker, quieter. The tide turns without applause. The water changes direction without asking anyone to witness it. The shore does not announce that it has remained. It remains. Your deepest changes may happen in the same way. Tomorrow, nobody may know that you stopped bargaining with yourself tonight. Nobody may know that you finally decided a mixed message would no longer control an entire day. Nobody may know that you chose not to reopen an old conversation in your mind. Nobody may know that you let another person's uncertainty stay with them instead of carrying it for them. But you will know. Your body may know before your thoughts do. Your shoulders may soften. Your jaw may stop holding the argument. Your stomach may release a little of the tension it has carried. Your breathing may become less shallow. Your attention may stay with the room instead of traveling toward an imagined future. These changes can be small. Small is still real. You are not required to transform dramatically. You are invited to become less divided against yourself. That is enough movement for one night. There may still be longing. Let it exist without making it a command. There may still be memory. Let it pass through without turning it into instruction. There may still be hope. Let hope stay open rather than attached to one face, one message, one outcome. There may still be sadness. Let sadness be human. None of these feelings cancel the ground you have found. You do not have to feel powerful every minute in order to live with self-respect. Some nights you may feel tender. Some mornings you may miss what you know was not right for you. Some moments you may want to reach backward. A feeling can move through you without becoming the direction of your life. That is part of maturity. You stop asking every emotion to decide. You listen. You care for it. You let it speak. Then you choose. The shore receives every change in water without following each movement. You can receive your feelings in much the same way. A wave of loneliness arrives. You do not become loneliness. A wave of memory arrives. You do not become the past. A wave of fear arrives. You do not become fear. A wave of longing arrives. You do not become longing. Something passes through. You remain. This is not emotional distance. It is emotional room. You are creating enough inner space that one feeling does not have to occupy the whole horizon. And in that space, other truths can return. You can miss someone and still know that the connection was not peaceful. You can feel lonely and still know that returning to confusion would not heal loneliness. You can wish for companionship and still know that companionship without respect is too expensive. You can feel uncertain and still know that you do not need to chase certainty. Two truths can live beside each other. That is often what healing looks like in ordinary life, not one perfect feeling. A larger capacity to hold complexity without abandoning yourself. You can remember the good. You can remember what hurt. You can appreciate what you learned. You can decide not to repeat it. You can wish someone well. You can choose distance. You can feel grateful. You can be finished. There is no contradiction in becoming more whole. Whole people contain many truths. They do not need to flatten the past into all good or all bad. They do not need to make themselves innocent and everyone else guilty. They do not need to prove that leaving was correct by erasing every beautiful memory. You can keep what was meaningful. You can release what no longer belongs in your daily life. You can let the sea carry what the shore no longer needs to hold, and you can remain. Tonight, remain. Remain with your own breathing. Remain with the place beneath you. Remain with the fact that you are here. No performance, no audition, no persuading, no waiting for permission to rest. You have lived enough hours for one day. You have carried enough questions. You have interpreted enough silence. You have imagined enough futures. You can set them down now. What is unresolved does not need your attention every minute. What belongs tomorrow can wait until tomorrow. What belongs to another person can stay with another person. You can keep only what is yours, your next breath, your next choice, your own dignity, your own direction, your own capacity to care for yourself. The rest can be farther away for a while. The tide has gone out before. It has revealed ground before. It has returned in its own rhythm before. You do not need to command it. You only need to remember that movement is not the same as destruction. A quiet season is not a verdict. An ending is not evidence that nothing meaningful can begin again. A pause is not proof that you have been forgotten by life. Sometimes what leaves creates room for clearer seeing. Sometimes what remains becomes more visible when the water pulls back. And what remains in you is considerable. Your ability to learn remains. Your humor remains. Your intelligence remains. Your compassion remains. Your capacity to begin remains. Your discernment remains. Your ability to create a different pattern remains. Your ability to say no remains. Your ability to say yes with your whole heart remains. Your ability to recognize mutual care remains. Your ability to step away from confusion remains. Your future is not empty because one possibility changed. It is open. Open does not always feel comfortable. The familiar can feel safer even when the familiar hurts. The unknown can feel frightening even when it contains more room. You do not need to love uncertainty. You only need to stop treating uncertainty as proof of disaster. You can meet it one day at a time. Tonight, one breath at a time. One loosening at a time. One thought released from duty. One old task no longer yours. You are not responsible for predicting who will stay. You are responsible for how you stay with yourself. You are not responsible for forcing another person's clarity. You are responsible for honoring your own. You are not responsible for making every connection work. You are responsible for recognizing what kind of connection you can live inside peacefully. This is the quiet authority you carry forward, not control over others, choice within yourself. And from that place, you can become more receptive without becoming more vulnerable to what repeatedly diminishes you. You can open the door without removing the hinges. You can welcome closeness without surrendering discernment. You can enjoy attraction without making it a command. You can let someone impress you over time instead of deciding everything in the first rush of feeling. You can let consistency matter. You can let respect matter. You can let peace matter. You can let your body have a vote. You can let your days remain yours. You can let another person add to your life rather than take custody of it. This is how the new posture becomes visible. You do not strain toward the horizon. You do not make one wave responsible for proving the sea exists. You stand where you are. You see what approaches. You see what withdraws. You let patterns speak. You let him help. You let your own inner voice become easier to hear, and now the words can become shorter, less explanation, more knowing. Let each sentence fall where it needs to fall. I choose what chooses me with care. I make room for mutual effort. I trust consistent actions over anxious guesses. I can want without losing myself. I can care without overreaching. I can pause without panic. I can ask without begging. I can listen without inventing. I can leave confusion unanswered tonight. I can let time reveal character. I can welcome what feels reciprocal. I can step back without punishment. I can remain kind and clear. I can hold hope without gripping. I can respect another person's no. I can honor my own no. I can accept a truthful ending. I can recognize a healthy beginning. I can let sincerity approach slowly. I can be seen as I am. I can be known without performing. I can accept care without debt. I can accept kindness without suspicion. I can enjoy attention without dependence. I can remain steady inside desire. I can choose peace over guessing. I can choose facts over fantasy. I can choose mutuality over pursuit. I can trust my own timing. I can make space for surprise. I can let tomorrow stay open. I am here. I am whole. I am grounded. I am clear. I am open. I am discerning. I am steady. I am receptive. I am present. I am free. I choose myself. I trust myself. I stay centered. I welcome reciprocity. I honor truth. I keep peace. I release pressure. I release guessing. I release proving. I release bargaining. I release overreaching. I release urgency. I rest now. I soften now. I stay here. Let the words become fewer. I am here. Still here. Safe here. Breathing now. Nothing to prove, Image-kai. Nothing to force. No more rehearsing. No more bargaining. No more reaching. Just this breath. Just this room. Just this moment. Let your forehead loosen. Let the small muscles around your eyes release. Let your tongue rest. Let your jaw unclench. Let your shoulders drop. Let your hands become heavy. Let your fingers stop holding the day. Let your chest move without instruction. Let your belly soften. Let your hips become heavy. Let your legs sink into rest. Let your feet stop carrying you anywhere. There is nowhere else you need to go tonight. No conversation needs to be completed now. No message needs to be imagined. No future needs to be solved. You can let the room hold the quiet. You can let the bed hold your weight. You can let darkness be darkness. You can let rest be ordinary. Your mind may still offer a thought. Let one thought pass, then another. No argument, no correction, no need to finish it. The day can remain unfinished in small ways. You can still sleep. Someone may still misunderstand you. You can still sleep. Something may still be uncertain. You can still sleep. A connection may still be changing. You can still sleep. The future may still be open. You can still sleep. Rest does not require certainty. Rest requires only that you stop demanding answers from this hour. This hour is not for answers. It is for release. Release the need to know what they are thinking. Release the need to know whether they miss you. Release the need to know what comes next. Release the need to replay what happened. Release the need to find the exact moment something changed. Release the need to improve the past. Release the need to write the perfect message in your mind. Release the need to defend what you wanted. Release the need to explain why it mattered. Release the need to judge yourself for caring. Release the need to judge yourself for staying too long. Release the need to judge yourself for leaving. Release the need to turn tonight into a final answer. One release, then another. Let the tide take what no longer needs to remain on the sand. Not your memories, not your wisdom, only the strain, only the pressure, only the repeated reaching, only the belief that your future depends on one response. Let that be carried farther from you. The water can move without your help. Your breathing can continue without supervision. Sleep can approach without being summoned. You do not have to perform rest correctly. You can drift imperfectly. You can wake and settle again. You can have thoughts and still be resting. You can feel emotion and still be safe in this moment. The body knows how to move towards sleep when it is no longer being asked to solve a relationship. Give it less work. Nothing to decode, nothing to predict, nothing to secure, nothing to earn. Your body can be a body again, not an alarm system, not a waiting room, not a place where every silence becomes tension, just a body, supported, breathing, cooling, resting. The muscles around your eyes soften further. Your face becomes less responsible for the day. Your shoulders are not carrying anyone now. Your hands are not reaching. Your chest does not have to protect the future. Your stomach does not have to hold every possibility. Your legs do not have to run toward what is uncertain. Your feet are still. Your whole body is learning the meaning of staying with yourself, staying in this moment, staying on your own ground. There is nothing dramatic about it. That is part of its beauty. The quiet choices often become the lasting ones. The message not sent from panic. The boundary kept without anger. The evening reclaimed. The old story not reopened. The thought that passes without becoming a spiral. The breath that brings you back. The bed that becomes a place of rest again. These are small returns. They count. You do not need a witness. You do not need applause. You do not need someone else to understand what changed. The shore does not ask permission to be itself. neither do you. You can stop presenting evidence. You can stop trying to prove that you were good. You can stop trying to prove that you were right. You can stop trying to prove that you deserved better. Live differently. That will be enough. Let your choices become the proof you no longer need to present. Choose people who can participate. Choose conversations where truth has room. Choose pauses that protect clarity. Choose distance when closeness repeatedly costs too much. Choose closeness when it is safe to soften. Choose rest when nothing useful can happen tonight. Choose yourself without turning that choice against anyone else. There is no enemy here, only a new direction. You can release the need for someone to regret losing access to you. That still ties your peace to their reaction. You can release the fantasy that one day they will finally understand every detail. They may not. Your healing does not require the verdict. You can become free without being vindicated. You can move forward without anyone admitting that you were right. You can close a chapter without making a nut. Her person the villain. That is a deep form of release. It leaves your hands empty enough for what comes next. Not because something specific is guaranteed, because life continues, because you continue, because tomorrow contains experiences that tonight cannot see, because your future deserves more than permanent residence inside one old question. Let tomorrow have room to surprise you. Let people reveal themselves. Let yourself change. Let your preferences deepen. Let your boundaries become natural rather than defensive. Let your inner life become less crowded by speculation. Let your attention come home more quickly each time it wanders too far. You will wander sometimes. Return. You will remember. Return. You will wonder. Return. You may miss them. Return. You may feel the old urgency. Return. You may have a day when everything you learned feels distant. Return anyway. The shore does not stop being the shore because one wave crosses farther than expected. You do not lose your progress because one difficult moment awakens an old habit. Come back. No punishment, no speech, no shame. Just come back again and again until returning becomes more familiar than abandoning yourself, until quiet feels less like rejection, until mutual effort feels normal, until clear communication feels attractive, until peace no longer seems boring, until your own company stops feeling like evidence that something is missing. Until you can want closeness without fearing your life is incomplete without it. Until you can meet another person as a whole human being instead of as the answer to an old wound. Until you can be chosen without forgetting that you choose too. And then, when life changes direction again, as life always does, you will know where to stand. not frozen, not guarded, not closed, present, open, rooted. You will know that movement around you does not require movement away from yourself. You will know that a retreat is not always a loss. You will know that space can reveal. You will know that return begins within. And now there is nothing more to learn tonight, only less to carry. Let the last questions loosen. Let the last imagined conversation fade. Let the last attempt to predict tomorrow become unnecessary. Your breathing is enough activity now. In, out. No counting. No task. Just breathing. The room grows quieter because you are no longer asking it for answers. Your thoughts grow farther apart. Your body grows heavier. The shore is still. The water moves in darkness. Nothing needs to be pursued. Nothing needs to be forced. Nothing needs to be secured before morning. You are permitted to rest inside the unfinished. You are permitted to sleep inside the unknown. You are permitted to trust yourself without knowing what anyone else will do. Let that be the final lesson tonight. Not trust that everything will happen exactly as you want. Trust that you can meet what happens without deserting yourself. That is steadier. That is yours. That can travel with you through beginnings, through endings, through closeness, through distance, through seasons when the water comes near, through seasons when more sand is revealed. You remain. You listen. You choose. You rest. And when morning comes, you do not need to wake as a different person. Wake as yourself with one less bargain, one less fear in charge, one clearer boundary, one quieter mind, one deeper loyalty to what you know. That is enough change for one night. Now let even these words become distant. The mind can stop collecting them. The body does not need to remember every sentence. Keep only the feeling of returning. Keep only the sense of ground beneath you. Keep only the quiet knowledge that you do not have to follow everything that moves away. You can remain. You can rest, you can sleep. I stand on my shore, fully return. You no longer chase, you attract. Sleep now where your own life meets you.